Namaskar, welcome back viewers. What started with the vandalization of the Indira Gandhi Cultural Center at Dhanmondi in Dhaka last August around the coup is now spreading to various corners of Bangladesh. Sites and structures which reflect the composite Bengali culture of the land are being targeted, demolished and vandalized. Why is Yunus administration allowing it to happen is the question on media scan today. And for that, we have a special panel of experts to take us down the subject. But before that, take a look at this report.
India's External Affairs Ministry expressed deep regret over news reports that the ancestral home of legendary filmmaker Bharat Ratna Satyajit Ray was being demolished in Mymensingh. On the other hand, New Delhi also offered to help rebuild the structure. Reports from Dhaka suggested that the demolition had been halted, but the local government also claimed the building had nothing to do with Satyajit Ray. This latest news has brought back into focus how religious as well as cultural sites associated with the rich Bengali culture are being targeted across Bangladesh. This week's violence in Gopalganj is also an indication that jihadi elements do not want the composite culture to survive. Though Gopalganj violence was triggered by the hardline National Citizens Party, allegedly for political reasons, experts say Gopalganj is targeted because it has a strong Hindu population and rich history. Since August 5, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's residence, Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore's ancestral home, at least 122 Hindu temples and several Sufi shrines have been attacked. This raises the question whether all traces of Bengali culture and history are under threat in Bangladesh.
So, with those quick updates, may I now connect to our guests for this weekend. I have here with me in the DD studios, P.K. Mishra, retired ADG, BSF with special expertise on the Eastern Front. Namaskar, welcome sir. Also joining me straight from Dhaka, Salahuddin Shoaib Chaudhary, independent journalist, editor of The Blitz and well known for speaking his mind without fear or favor.
Yes.
And I would like to come to Salahuddin first. Salahuddin, please take us down what is happening in Bangladesh and Dhaka at the moment, particularly those very disturbing reports about the demolition of Satyajit Ray's ancestral property in Mymensingh. We saw conflicting reports. While India has offered, first India complained about those reports of demolition. New Delhi also offered to help in rebuilding the structure. But on the one hand, there are reports that Bangladesh administration has halted the demolition. At the same time, there are statements from Bangladesh government that the property had nothing to do with the legendary filmmaker. So, what exactly is the reality of that structure and what is the response of your government?
Thank you very much. You see, since the last year's jihadist coup in Bangladesh, what is happening actually, these jihadists, they want to erase the heritage, the identity, the pluralistic roots of Bengalis. And that is exactly they are doing. And we know that the Pakistanis, they tried to turn Bengalis into Pakistanis for 24 years. They could not, because we Bengalis, we have completely different culture and heritage and pluralistic roots. Now, as you have mentioned, destroying the ancestral property of the Satyajit Ray, or previously it was by Rabindranath Tagore. So now they say it has, I mean, these property never belonged to them. Actually, technically they are correct. But why? Because in 1947, immediately after 14th of August, they declared all those properties as enemy property. So in other words, the state machinery, Pakistani, they grabbed his Hindu properties and turned into the property of the state. But originally and in reality, these are all belonging to the Hindus, the Rabindranath Tagore, to Satyajit Ray and everyone. So now I should tell that this state machinery under the Yunus regime, they are lying. They're trying to fool the world, but they don't know that everyone knows the truth, everyone knows the history. And this is an attempt of erasing Bengalis' existence from the history of this part of the world. And this is exactly what is happening. They are not only demolishing the residents of the ancestral homes, they are also demanding changing of the national anthem of Bangladesh, saying that it was written by a Hindu. So they want to Islamize Bangladesh. They are attempting to turn Bangladesh into another Afghanistan, and this is what happening, unfortunately, under the watch of Yunus.
Fine, fine. Let me also get a take from P.K. Mishra here, and I'll come back to you more on that. P.K. Mishra, sir, when those protesters, they vandalized the house of, all the remains which reminded one of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the explanation given was that, you see, that is the expression of the political anger among the youth, and it is political, it has nothing to do with Bangladesh's history. But when Satyajit Ray's ancestral home, whether technically owned by the family or not, when it is the Tagore ancestral home, when it is Indira Gandhi Cultural Center, a much more modern structure, when these are targeted, what does this tell us about what's going on in the country?
Smita, I can well tell you, I just had a visit to Dhaka.
Okay.
I know what has happened. I am very frank, I will tell the truth what is happening in Dhaka. And Muhammad Yunus is telling a lie. He is a liar. In fact, we are losing Bengali culture. You see, Mukha has gone. We had the first Bengali movie in 1956. This was made in Bangladesh, Mukha, and all these Bengalis, they have forgotten it. I am not telling Bengalis have forgotten it. It is these Jamatis, this Muhammad Yunus, they have forgotten it. And I am telling you, it is not only in Dhaka. You go to Shirazpur, the place of Nazrul Islam, and just now it was still, he told, Mr. Salahuddin told, in Sirajid, the Sufi shrine, that was vandalized. What Sufi shrine had to do with jihadis? And I am very sure what is happening in Bangladesh. I am not only telling you in Dhaka, I also got the information of Chittagong Hill Tract and Chittagong. I have stayed in a 5-star hotel, and I am telling you what is happening in Dhaka and what is happening in Chittagong. These hotels are all having ISI people from Pakistan and PLA. I repeat, I have seen Chinese people in all these hotels, and I have seen Pakistani people staying in these hotels. I know Muhammad Yunus will tell no. This ISI chief was there in Bangladesh, and there is a penetration. Not only jihadis are there, jihadis are being backed by ISI, and that is what it is happening. What has happened with Indira Gandhi institution, what has happened with Satyajit Ray's house, and what has happened with Rabindranath Tagore's house, it is a blow to the Bengali culture. The Bengali culture is being wiped out slowly and slowly, and Islamization is being done by Muhammad Yunus. I repeat, Muhammad Yunus, I am very frank in telling it, and I will tell you, we are not safe as Hindus in Dhaka to walk during night period in Dhaka street. I am very frankly telling you, I am sorry to tell it here in this, I mean before you. It's a fact I am telling you, we are not safe in Bangladesh. And this has gone to that extent.
Right,
and,
right. Point taken, sir. Point taken.
Yes.
If I can come back to Salahuddin. First, the religious structures were targeted. They continue to be targeted. Idols are being broken. Temples are demolished. Now, what we can call cultural centers, which do not have anything to do with religion, but because they represent a Hindu name, they are being targeted. And among all these very sinister developments, we have seen some very disturbing violence in Gopalganj. We are told from reports that people within Bangladesh are also very disturbed. So what exactly is the NCP whose people were protesting, and what was the cause of violence in Gopalganj? Salahuddin, why did it become so disturbing, and are there any fallouts that you see?
Thank you very much, Didi. First of all, I'd like to clarify one point, that during our Great War of Independence in 1971, Pakistanis portrayed the war as a war between Hindus and Muslims. In their eyes, we Bengalis are Hindus. So they are trying to take revenge of their defeat of 1971 with the help of Muhammad Yunus, with the help of Jamaat-e-Islami, Hizb ut-Tahrir and all other Islamist jihadis. And yesterday, on the streets of Dhaka, in front of Baitul Mukarram National Mosque, the jihadis brought out a massive procession waving Al-Qaeda flag, Islamic State flag, Hamas flag, and chanting slogan that they are militants, they are jihadis, they are Al-Qaeda, etc. Now about Gopalganj. Why Islamists are targeting Gopalganj? Gopalganj has a very long historic background.
Okay.
It belonged to the Gandhari dynasty, 300 years before the Christ. And this Gopalganj, the area's name, it is named under the name of actually in 1800, the Babu Pritaram Marth, Zamindar of Chandbazar, Kolkata, he bought this area for 19,000 rupees. And his grandson, Ganesh Chandra, he named Gopalganj after the name of the great-grandson of the Zamindar, and his name was Nabagopal. So this is Gopalganj. So
Okay.
Gopal is historically with a huge, rich heritage of Hindu culture. And for your kind information, now everyone will say Dhaka Nawab Bari. Actually, the Dhaka Nawab Bari was never built by the Nawabs. It was built by the Rajas and Maharajas of Gopalganj as their leisure home. So, I mean, there is nothing Muslims have done in this part of the Bengal actually. It's all Hindu
No, no.
Rajas.
So, one second, Salahuddin, if I may interrupt you here. We have read a lot about how there was protest and there was, violence on both sides. Then the army had to take action. Some people got killed in the whole violence. But nowhere did we see in media reports that the reason Gopalganj is being made the center of violence is also because of its history and maybe its composite or Hindu heritage.
Gopalganj, as I said, is the capital of Hindu heritage and culture and history. They
Right.
want to destroy that history. They want to wipe off Hindu existence of Hindus, not only Hindus. They want to wipe out the existence of Bengalis in this part of the world. And whatever the government or the regime is saying, I'd like to say the army has actually crossed the red line by opening fire on unarmed, innocent civilians. And this so-called NCP that you mentioned is an unregistered political force.
Yes.
It went to Gopalganj to demolish the burial site of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and the ancestral home of Bangabandhu. Now, 1.9 million, 19 lakh people in Gopalganj, they became angry because they will never allow respect of Bangabandhu. And we have seen how the same band of jihadis have demolished the residence of Bangabandhu in Dhaka.
Okay,
So
in
this
one line, Salahuddin, who is behind the NCP? You said it's an unregistered political entity. So, which are the real powers behind this outfit?
NCP is the illegitimate child of Yunus, an American deep state, and China and Pakistani high side.
That's a long list. Allow me to come back to Mr. Mishra here. P.K. Mishra, sir, first we heard that because of whatever happened in the run-up to the coup of August, there was a lot of action and it is still going on about banning the Awami League. Now, once Awami League is out of the picture, now we hear that there are efforts that BNP should also be banned. So, basically, the two biggest political groups of Bangladesh there is an effort to push them away from the electoral process. And meanwhile, on Saturday, as we discussed, a huge Jamaat rally in Bangladesh has been called, perhaps the biggest so far. How do you look at these political developments?
Shweta, I can well tell you what exactly has happened at Gopalganj, then Sirazganj and Faridkot. This all totally the axis goes to Jamaatis. Jamaatis, NCP, ISI, Pakistan and USA and nothing else. And I am telling you, it is not only Sheikh Hasina's Awam party which has been banned, they will be banning definitely BNP. They knew that if there will be an election, BNP may come to power, and this may so happen that Jamaatis may go away from the power politics and to remain in power. And that is what ISI did not like it, and Pakistan embassy in Dhaka, they have manipulated this through Jamaatis to ensure that Begum Jia also should not come to power, and both Begum Jia and Sheikh Hasina, they should remain away, and it will be Jamaati led, then Islamization of Bangladesh will be held, and then all the Hindus will go. You see what has happened in Gopalganj?
Yes.
Gopalganj, this is the complete Hindu belt. You see Sirajganj, Sufi area, and you see Faridpur, again another Hindu area, and they are going to make it like Silhat. Silhat, you see, the maximum crime, it is crime affected area is Silhat. It is going to become Silhat now, and they will definitely oust all Hindus, whatever 5% or 5% Hindus are there. I am very sure, like Pakistan, they will be driving them away, as they are doing it with Indira Gandhi Institution and Satyajit Ray's house and Rabindranath Tagore's house.
Yes.
And what has happened in Gopalganj. Everywhere you find Muhammad Yunus is planning to remain in power and to have Bangladesh army chief under him. I am telling you, there is a conflict between Muhammad Yunus and Bangladesh army chief.
I am coming. I will come back on that, sir. On the equations between the Bangladesh administration and the army.
And then,
but before that, I want to get a take from Salahuddin.
Yes, Salahuddin
on the chances, the prospects of elections. There was a lot of pressure on Yunus to conduct elections by the end of this year, but now it seems it will go on to next year. Even next year, there are question marks about whether it will really happen. Meanwhile, we see all these attempts to ban away all the relevant, the mainstream political parties. What are the prospects of elections, sir?
Yunus has no intention of holding an election in the foreseeable future. He wants to turn Bangladesh into another Afghanistan and Talibanize the country, and he wants to become the new Sultan of Bengal Sultanate.
Okay, but you know, I mean, there is some talk of elections in early 2026. You do not see that happening at all?
As I said, not even in the foreseeable future, because Yunus knows that, just simple reason, out of 100% vote bank, Awami League BNP has 90%, and Islamists have 7 to 10%. Yunus does not even have 0.01% vote bank in this country. So Yunus himself will lose his security deposit if he contests into any election. So the only way for him to remain in power without holding an election, and that is what he is waiting for.
Okay, just one more question, Salahuddin. There are stray reports here and there for the last few weeks that lot of senior Awami League activists are now trying to come out, and there is a sort of, if I may not say a surge, but there is some visible activity from the Awami League side. Is that a fact?
Awami League has a vote bank of 4.5 crore people. And inside only in Dhaka city, there are more than 1 crore Awami League activists and leaders. Awami League will come back. Awami League is returning. And we are seeing what is happening in Gopalganj, in Faridpur, in Saryadpur, in Maradaripur. Awami League is returning, and Yunus is already being rattled.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Sir, I want to come back to what we were discussing just now when you said that why the reason Muhammad Yunus would like to keep the army under his thumb is because the army, from time to time, the army chief has voiced concerns about what is going on as far as law and order and the security of the nation is concerned. How do you see this equation playing out?
Yes, Meta, I can tell you, Army Chief of Bangladesh is not like Field Marshal Munir. There is a difference of working of Army Chief of Bangladesh and Field Marshal Munir. Munir has already taken over Pakistan. Very frankly, I am telling you, he has taken over Pakistan fully under his power, and Shahbaz is nowhere. He is nowhere. Here what has happened, army chief, he wants to hold the election.
Yes.
And he did put
He
pressure
said
on,
so,
he said
on
so,
record.
and he told, I will ensure the election is being held in 2025 by December, and Muhammad Yunus manipulated through Jamaatis and ISI to shift it. He told, yes, I will hold it, shifted it to April 2026. What Salahuddin was telling, he is correct. He cannot get the votes. He knows that he will be ousted. If there is an election, he will lose. So he has shifted it to April. Now I am very sure, I just had a visit, there will be no April election in Bangladesh, and it is just that he is befooling the people, and he is being guided absolutely by ISI that you keep army chief under control, because he is not, it is all being done by General Field Marshal, not General, Field Marshal Munir. He is telling you keep this army chief under your control, otherwise there will be a problem. He will ensure that the election will be held in Bangladesh.
ISI and the
And
Field
Jamaatis,
Marshal Munir
Munir.
from Pakistan is remote controlling the developments
Yes.
in Dhaka. Isn't that a big statement to make?
Yes, I am telling you, there was a visit of ISI, the present ISI chief to Dhaka.
Yes, we know.
And he, not only he came with 3 brigadiers and about so many colonels, and they have gone to Kustia, they have gone to Silhat, they have gone to Khulna. These areas they have already visited. So Pakistan embassy is now working along with USA, with Muhammad Yunus, and they will ensure the election will never be held in Bangladesh for the time being, and Muhammad Yunus will continue with jihadi power. And they will remain, they will keep Begum Jia also away from the scene, because the new Begum Jia's vote bank is quite strong. Even some of the, I am telling you, JMBs are in favor of Begum Jia also, because they are opposite to Sheikh Hasina. But they want Begum Jia to be ousted from political scene, so that Muhammad Yunus can continue and remain with jihadi power in Bangladesh. That is what is happening now.
Right. Understood,
Dhaka.
sir. Okay, gentlemen, just time enough for a last question from Salahuddin, who has joined us from Dhaka. In the run-up to all these sinister developments, Salahuddin, what exactly do you think is going to happen in the coming few weeks in your country?
Whenever a country is attacked by the enemy side, the armed forces, they take their due course. It is not Pakistan army, it is Bangladesh army. I believe and I hope that General Wakar and our armed forces are going to take the military initiative against Yunus very soon. And it will, when I say very soon, it will be really very soon, and it's not going to be later than August of this year.
You want to add to that, Mr. Mishra? Quickly?
Yes, Salahuddin definitely spoke about Wakul Jaman, but I know him personally.
Right.
I'm very sure he will be putting pressure. I hope he will do his best. He will never back down before Muhammad Yunus. I hope for the best of Bangladesh. And of course, Sheikh Hasina is with us, but then Sheikh Hasina is not going to take over so easily. It will take time for Awami League to come up. It may take about 3 to 4 years for Sheikh Hasina to come up to the power. But then whoever it may be, whether it is Sheikh Hasina or whether it is Begum Jia, whoever they win, they should come up to rule Bangladesh, because we want Bengali culture to remain in Bangladesh. What is Bangladesh? Bangladesh is our Sonar Bangla. Our Bengal is also Sonar Bangla. Let the Sonar Bangla should remain, and this Islamization of Muhammad Yunus should stop. And I hope Wakar Jaman, the army chief, he should have a major role in Bangladesh to hold the election. Let the people come up to vote.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think we've had a very, very informative and also very engaging conversation here with Salahuddin joining us from Dhaka. Thank you so much for all that information and your perspective. Always grateful for your participation. And PK Mishra sir,
Thank you.
For helping us with the observations during your recent visit to Dhaka. Viewers, it is not important whether elections are held later this year in Bangladesh or early next year or even later than that. But meanwhile, these constant reports of violence and vandalization are creating unease in the Bengali-speaking people on both sides of the border, as well as all other people who value the composite culture of the subcontinent. Can the Yunus administration control these jihadi elements who are targeting not only religious sites, but now all cultural sites as well? is the question with which we are ending this weekend's episode. But do join us next weekend in another episode of Media Scan. Till then, namaskar.